Hey, what's up, everybody? Hitmanbk here, and we're back with episode 11.
11? Yes,
Yes,
11,
it's
I believe.
episode 11 of the OGs. We're chilling. There's a lot to cover. There's a big thing coming up next week with Xbox that I think we all have opinions on. I have played Suicide Squad, so I have thoughts on that. We have your typical dad advice, which will be nothing because I don't have anything. I don't know if Brady does, but maybe we'll come up with something. And as always, I'm sitting here across the digital landscapes with the one and only Freddie.
What up? What up, guys? This is going to be a later day. It's like 8, almost 9 o'clock.
It's later here.
We do have a note to give you. So I know we have been doing these podcasts a week in the past.
Oh, yes.
So you're getting old news. Now we're going to do it the day before. So
Yes.
Thursday before the Friday. So that way you get your information a little bit earlier with more accurate information. So that way it doesn't sound old.
That way you're not watching a video about the launch of Suicide Squad when we're a week into the launch of Suicide Squad.
Exactly. And to help us out, please subscribe wherever you're listening to this or watching on YouTube. Do all the things, click all the likes and hearts and everything else because it gives us
the things, give the hugs.
Absolutely.
So what do I have? What do I have for Freddie? Okay, well, I mean, we always kick this off with dad advice first. And I'm trying to think of what the heck I have today.
So hold on. We have a format now. Remember, our format is going to be we're moving the dad advice towards the end.
Oh, are we?
Same thing with the hot takes.
Okay.
And then so that way, people you want to give people something.
Come into the action then is what we're saying here.
Let's do it.
Well, then
all right.
So what do you have to say about this Xbox thing? So, okay, in case you buried yourself in a hole, there was a stream of just.
It was a freak out across the interwebs about Xbox selling out and just ridiculous. But
yes, and I'll play the Xbox Direct over this too, so you guys can have something to kind of like understand where Xbox is at right now. And then what happened and why people are freaking out. So, Freddie, what happened?
So, I mean, I don't know. So, okay. So what I found when I was reading, I did a deep dive trying to figure out where this started, right? So Xbox Era, which is another podcast, they're just guys. They're not really like, industry people. They're gamers, and sometimes they have said stuff that's legit, but they went ahead and
so they had like a leak, or no, they had sources. They had sources who didn't want to give it up.
Sources, yes. And people that can't see, I'm giving you the quotations with the word.
Sources. Yes.
So they said that Xbox is going to reveal that they're going to release their first. Well,
that's how it started. Was Starfield's going to go multi-plat? Like Starfield is going to end up on PlayStation, and somehow from that shit fire, everything fell apart, and it became like Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation.
Sea of Thieves and
Halo, Gears of War.
Let's just back up a little bit. Let's just go over what Xbox has said in the past. They've said it numerous times, right? They want Xbox Game Pass to be on any screen that allows it to be on, right? So, but it's their platform isn't Xbox; it's Xbox Game Pass, right?
Right.
So that means working probably with the Steam Deck, to working with the meta whatever the VR, right? They released Game Pass streaming on the VR. They're releasing whatever on Samsung TVs. Oh yeah, people are like love it because it's like a 250-inch screen that you're playing. But anyways, so
Yeah, well, that's a whole other conversation, especially when you look at the Apple thing that's like just blown up recently.
yeah, which is absolutely first off, it's 3,000 plus.
I'll bring
I
that up
digress.
later. I got a whole thing with that one.
but so okay, so obviously people start losing their minds, and then the rumor just kind of escalated into like Xbox is going to get out of the consoles, and it was just dramatic, right?
Not that they were going to get out of consoles, and I agree with this. Like I told you, that if any of it is true, and they go more into Game Pass, then they aren't. Then it is hard for people to buy in that they're investing in hardware when it feels like they're more just investing in the idea of being everywhere. And I think we both know that Xbox would love to put Game Pass on PlayStation. Like I think they want to go all in on Game Pass. Like I think they want to be the Netflix of video games, and you don't really need a box if you are the Netflix of video games. But I at the same time don't think they're getting out of the hardware business. But I do agree that hardware is sold by your exclusives. So if you give away your exclusives, you don't care about your hardware.
But at the end of the day, though, like I do think that there are positions where you will be more success. So the way I look at it is Xbox is going to keep feeding Game Pass. Like they know long term that is their best investment to outpace Sony. Sony cannot day one releases on their streaming service, even with 50 million
it's like 50
subscribers.
Mil. Yeah. It really only at the end of the day was like 15 million more than Xbox. It's not drastic.
Right. But PlayStation can't, even with that, they can't afford what Xbox can when it comes to
that was my favorite rumor too, by the way, that Xbox is going to come out and announce that some first party titles won't be day one Game Pass. And I was like, that's just not going to happen.
never going to happen. The whole purpose.
Then you backtrack on everything. I mean, that'd be literally like taking 30 steps backwards. That would like neuter Game Pass.
But so let's just talk about what they said in the past. What they said is 4 exclusives a year from Xbox, not including any third parties. That's the minimum they want to basically want to.
Spencer wants to do. That's his goal.
And so they have already started. You can start seeing some duds in there, but you can start seeing what they're trying to do, especially 2024.
The developer direct has it right. I've actually, when it's up, I'm looking at it, and the 4 are there, which is that Oxide game. I don't remember what that is, but the Obsidian, Avowed, Ninja Theory, and Indie. So there's your 4.
Yeah. Those are 4, right? And that's not including any third-party games that they have contracts with,
or even the smaller indie games. So it's just like 4 like AAA double, high double, mostly AAA games. Like I think Phil Spencer's general idea is like 4 bangers will always come from our studios and end up on Game Pass.
And I think that then you also look at other games that Xbox took a chance on, right? Palworld was not a game that it was on nobody's radar. They went to Xbox and said, hey, do you guys want this? It's a preview, but do you want it? Xbox said yes. Obviously, massive success, right? Yes. Huge overnight success. And those are the one-offs, right? So I don't see...
is beyond just a success, too. That game is
it's a phenomenon.
Yeah, it is at this point. Like, we were just looking at the numbers, and it's still just like, peak numbers for that game, over 2 million players. It's bonkers.
Yeah.
And that's just Steam. That doesn't include the Game Pass, the free people on Game Pass.
Yeah. I mean, like that game sold consoles 100%, right? Yeah. Like it's what every person that ever played Pokemon wanted. They wanted Pokemon slaves. I mean, that's it, right?
It's just the truth. It's the truth.
But anyway, so obviously this thing kind of spiraled, right?
Yeah, it did.
So I started digging. I'm trying to figure out where this came from, right? So there's some stuff, obviously Twitter, X, whatever. It may or may not be true, but what the 4chan trolls were able to find out were there were ex-Activision employees that disgruntled employees that that's their official leaks were these. Okay. Yeah, they're sources, right?
They actually just laid off more people too from Activision.
they're going to be there's too many people. There's going to be redundancies across the board.
Well, right, man.
And there, the whole point is to make it more financially efficient for Xbox, right? So, but the point is, Xbox is making plenty of money off of the Xbox the division, right? And it doesn't make any sense. You're not going to make more money if your main your cheerleaders, right? Your fanboys don't believe in your system. I do think that there is a possibility to do that. PlayStation's already testing those waters, and I guarantee you within the next.
And you even said that like games like Hi-Fi Rush or Sea of Thieves like could easily go multi-plat, and that's really not a detriment to Xbox. That's just, which I do agree with that. Hi-Fi Rush, a great game, like, but it's not some sort of console seller, so it makes sense to put that up on PlayStation. And Sea of Thieves is live service, and I do agree that live service games, all live service games should be multi-plat. It makes zero sense for a live service game to be an exclusive, because like I mean, like I don't know how you function. I don't know how you make the money up if you're not multi-plat.
Well,
so
yeah,
that I could see, but my thing was just even if Starfield is real, it's just a slip. It's just, you just got to be careful. You really got to be careful what they're going to move over. And then if Starfield is real, it will be kind of weird if it's Starfield and Hi-Fi, because then it almost looks like a Bethesda thing, like where it's like, oh yeah, these Bethesda games are going to go multi-plat. But I mean, again, we don't actually know what's going to happen. I'm just saying.
So let's back up a little bit, okay?
Slippery slope.
So part of all this too is you have to remember that Xbox had committed some. Remember, we had this conversation about Nvidia, right? So Xbox has 10-year commitments.
They did the merger.
Right, yeah. So that for them to take Activision on, they had to sign a 10-year agreement. Do you remember what studio or what console or what company had a 10-year agreement with Xbox? It wasn't Sony. It was Nintendo. Nintendo signed a 10-year agreement to have Xbox games on Nintendo, which means Hi-Fi Rush is not going to PlayStation. Hi-Fi Rush is 100%
going to
Switch.
Yeah.
That is a Switch game. That feels like a Switch game.
It'll play good on a Switch game too. I can't imagine it would need much work graphics wise. It's not like some sort of
no. It's not super
game,
but it will sell like hotcakes, because that is a type of game that would sell. And then the other one that I would 100% agree with is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves on PlayStation and any console ever. It should be multi-plat. It's literally the same concept for Minecraft. If you could, Minecraft prints money for Xbox. So I think Sea of Thieves
on PlayStation.
Oh yeah, Minecraft's on PlayStation. It's on phones. It's on everything. And the other side of it that people do not remember, Xbox bought Activision not just for the IPs. Right, they bought games. Yeah, they bought King is a monster, and King is a monster. Call of Duty Online is a monster. So think about, hey, what if we do Sea of Thieves on phones, right? Like that is, I think, the business decision.
It's not a high fidelity game, so
and it doesn't necessarily. Yeah, it's exactly the kind of same, feel and play as Hi-Fi Rush. I think, and they have always said it's going to be case by case. I very much doubt they put the bangers on PlayStation. It's just not. And let's just back up. Starfield, PlayStation was canceled years ago.
That's true.
That's what they said.
That's what they said, yeah, because originally it was multi-plat until...
Yeah. Well, they even said they canceled it and focused on the Xbox. So for them to come back and say, hey, during this time, instead of giving you 60 frames a second, where we worked on the PlayStation version, it would, I mean... So
that's what I'm saying. So if any of that was true, you're almost like, what? Like what?
I just don't see
but
it.
Again, we're all... If anything, it shows the fault, the I don't even know how to pronounce that word, the horribleness of Twitter, because of just how fast a rumor became almost like a not rumor anymore.
Well, and it's like everybody, and you even said Phil Spencer's like, hey, we're gonna have a call, like
I was like, why would you not just deny it outright and then also say like, we'll see you guys here? But I mean, like, I get it.
He's a professional. He's not going to be like, you guys are all idiots.
Yeah.
We haven't said. We literally just showed you a showcase that we just spent a bunch of money, and you're
Yeah.
believing some random people about some random shit. It just makes no sense. But the big thing that my realization, right? Like, why are Xbox people like this? And I go back to the fact that Xbox screwed the pooch with the
Yes.
Xbone, right?
Yeah.
They did not learn, right?
They're still fighting for that, getting that brand awareness back. And it feels like we're right there.
Oh yeah.
So the idea that they might like do something drastic, everybody's like, "What are you doing?" Like I'm buying in now.
Well, the fact that they spent the money, like they've done everything we've asked them to do. Right. Go spend money. Go create new IPs. Bring back some IPs. Give us something that to like look forward to. And it takes time, 5 to 6 years to create these games, but we're seeing that happen. Right. And I mean, I'm not going to say PlayStation paid somebody to say this and then push this agenda, because Q1 of 2024 is kind of meh for them. Outside of like Helldivers.
I mean, Helldivers. I mean, that's what I was telling you. I was called Freddie earlier today because I was like, I get it. I get why it's like this, but it's just crazy that Steam chart shows us numbers and we can't see them anywhere else. And I think me and him both agreed too. We were both like, I'd love to see like the numbers on Final Fantasy, like these games that are coming for PlayStation, like how many people actually log on and play those, because they're called console sellers. Like, I mean, supposedly Final Fantasy is just huge. Like, and Final Fantasy Rebirth is going to be huge. Helldivers has done really good. I don't think Helldivers is a PlayStation seller, though. If anything, it's like more, it might even be more for PC people. But if Final Fantasy is as big as they say it is, or even Ghost of Tsushima, I just wish I could actually see data on like, oh, damn, yeah, like there was like a million people playing Final Fantasy. So, yeah, clearly, like that would push, you'd go buy a console for that game.
My point is, if Final Fantasy was and I don't know, I mean, people talk about it, but I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy, right? But if Final Fantasy was the game that's going to elevate, Sony and sell consoles, why does Square Enix always show a massive loss? Like, they are year over year.
All they have.
Well, yeah, but year over year, they're not doing well across the board.
Well, that's true. I don't know. And even with the Guardians, like they've had some banger games,
but they just run poorly. That's the problem. Is like they had, and then the company that bought all those studios, Tenet, or what is it? Tencent?
No, was it Tencent or Embracer? Yeah, Tencent. I thought Embracer Group's been buying everybody.
No, Embracer Group's bought both of these companies. Actually are doing terrible because they haven't released anything.
That's true.
But either way, at the end of the day, Phil Spencer has never really lied to us. Like, he hasn't said something then not. So I just don't know where this freak out, the freak out happened so quickly. But I go back and
happened so fast.
What?
I called you like at 15 minutes. I was like, what is happening?
The world is on fire. Everybody's selling their Xboxes. Like,
there's the guy with the receipt. He's like, I'm like, wow, dude. All right. I mean, I had to at least wait for the conference.
Yeah. Well, they were like, this is another Sega situation. I'm like, Sega had one studio, their own studio. Xbox has like 35 studios, guys. Like, they have enough studios to pump out games for.
I mean, they just spent, a bill to get a big one. So, hey, we just bought all this stuff, but like, I think we're going to put everything on PlayStation. Now, I mean, thinking it, when you say it that way, that's like, I think the first time it actually registered to me that it would even be even more surprising now to me because of that. It is just like, what is Phil Spencer going to do? Be like, oh yeah, I just went through like months and months of court to put more games on PlayStation, like
and fighting PlayStation. Like, why would PlayStation spent the entire 2 years fighting Xbox for Xbox again? Hey, thank you, Sony. Here's some games to sell more of your consoles. It doesn't make a ton of sense.
It doesn't make sense.
But I go back to when we talked about this. PlayStation had that. The PlayStation 3 was basically a disaster, right?
It's a disaster.
And the Xbox 360 actually came out with those games, right? So when we first started seeing, what we didn't
talk about is not only did they come out with games, the success of Xbox 360 and how bad the PlayStation was is only amplified by the fact that the Xbox 362 was the only console to come out that was so broken it would actually brick. The Red Ring,
Yep.
you remember the Red Ring of Death? And it
Oh,
survived
yeah.
that because it had so many good games and it was so
Right.
strong that
Right.
they survived literally a broken product for some people.
No,
So I forgot all about that.
The Red Ring was a massive, I remember having to like wrap the Xbox in towels and use a blow dryer to heat it up so I can play video games because it was like, but the, that's when you got Gears, right? Gears was a
Halo
3.6 Halo, like they came out with some games.
Mass Effect was exclusive.
It was exclusive. And so that's the other side of it too, is like Sony went hey, this is a media. We know we have you have Blu-ray in this thing now. And we can play. And we made this the most powerful console that nobody
Xbox 360 with HD DVD.
Oh, you remember that? Yeah.
You had to buy the external thing.
But it just shows how
we were both so big Xbox boys too. We were like buying the HD DVDs.
Yeah. I remember, and then it became like 50 cents a copy for these games.
Obsolete in like under a year.
Yeah,
but that had nothing to do with PlayStation. That had everything to do with
Well, they didn't. It was just bad.
Blu-ray was bought up by the adult industry, and that was the end of that.
Yep, they're like, we're not gonna do this HC whatever this nonsense is. This Blu-ray with the Blu-razer. I like that one.
Yeah.
But Xbox was a very Xbox and PlayStation were so. Yeah. Almost on par. PlayStation still outsold Xbox, but the margins were very low. Then, for some odd reason, Xbox is like, "Hey, remember what the Wii did and what PlayStation did? Let's do the combination of those and not have any games for the Xbone, and let's make Connect mandatory, and let's make it more expensive, and right." And so they lost bad. Like, it was bad.
The E3 too, when they did that, and then Sony came out and was like, "We want to make games," and then I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, it's so Sony did what Xbox is doing now, last generation, with the lead, right? It's like you're you're ahead, and you're saying, okay, we almost lost it last time. Let's just focus on what our console does well.
And
so
Sony's chilling. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're not changing anything up. I think their plan is still the same. I think they're just chilling.
Yeah,
chilling because they have some pimping stuff coming, or
they're chilling because
a waiting game just to see what Xbox is going to do.
I'm looking right now, right? This is from the industry leader. When it comes to stats on consoles, so far in 2023, on December 31st, the numbers for console were 77 million consoles sold, right? For the 9th generation. PlayStation has 50 million.
Right.
Or 52, and Xbox has 25 million. So
I mean they're I mean that's a lot of the reason why Microsoft won the Activision thing. It's because in court they were like, "What are you talking about? Like we're way down here, dude. You're the one in the top."
Yeah, so I think even with the 25 million, right? Xbox has a massive advantage in 5 years.
Yeah,
in 5 years.
Did you see the rumor on PlayStation right now too? They're saying that the next PlayStation, you might have already told me this, but I was just reading a thing on Twitter that said the next PlayStation is going all in on AMD and is going to be the most powerful console ever made.
Yes, so they say that every time, right? And
they do. To be honest, they do.
And then, but
they also still stay like 4K 60, and then in very small writing it tells you that it's 1440p but upscaled.
But so the other side of that rumor was that Xbox is not going with AMD, or if they are, they're trying to lowball them even more. But I think they're trying to see if Nvidia or Intel can give them better performance at a better price, and then they will commit to 2 generations with those companies. Okay. I think that.
Yeah, but do you think this is soon? I know I'm trailing us down, but I gotta follow this because I was really curious when I saw this. Do you think Sony's waiting because that's like something they're going to announce soon? Because you also remember Microsoft's leak right? Remember the big leak from the thing where they're talking about how they like the next Xbox might be like more heavy into the cloud. They had the really interesting controller that I would pay, like I would give my left arm just to like see if that thing was real, because you know how much I love PlayStation's controller.
Yeah, the one with the haptics and the screen and the
And
phone.
the haptics
Yeah.
and all the stuff that they were going to put into this Xbox controller. Like, how do you think? I mean, are we? I mean, I feel like no. I'm just curious though. Like, do you think we're going to see something soon? I feel like it's too soon.
No. So PlayStation already has the Pro coming out, right? So they're not going to do anything.
Been confirmed though.
It's confirmed. It's been they already patented it. There's a patent pending.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a PlayStation 5 Pro, and it's going to come in two cuts, right? The digital, non-digital, and it's going to come with a bigger hard drive, all those things.
Right,
and
yeah.
Xbox is apparently not doing that. They are.
Well, they don't need to, right? Because they've got the X and the S.
Yeah, and the X technically is outside of the specific hard drive that the PlayStation has.
Yeah, the X is more powerful, so
more powerful. Yeah, so they don't need that. I don't know, man. It's the consoles have been only out for like what, 3 years. So I just don't.
Well, and not only that, we're just now making games for them, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's COVID and everything else. Like we're finally making. I mean, Unreal 5 didn't even run that well on like that we've seen so far, so they haven't even worked out those kinks.
So here's some interesting numbers I just saw. Pal World, right, which is on Game Pass, has sold. It's $29.99 on Xbox with Game Pass. It sold 20 million copies.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is insane for a game that's in preview, by the way. But I just don't think that Xbox is getting out of the game. I think that this is the movie industry for tech, right? Gaming. That's why you see
good. That's a good. You did it for me. You segued for me because I wanted to ask you. With what we've seen with PlayStation, and we both know that like a big reason they can't do their exclusives because how much money they dump into their video games. Obviously, Microsoft is dumping a lot of money into it too. This is totally off base, but I gotta know because like I am concerned. Are you concerned that we'll end up like the movies too, where like a lot of the like creativity and shit's gonna go out the window because so much money is being spent, like Suicide Squad. Like there's just so much money now dumped into these video games that they're going to try to start doing things, like film does. Like, be like, well, we got to go safe because, like, we can't afford the loss.
So movies are different, right? Because movies are on and they're passive,
sure, yeah.
right? They're not engaged.
Like a 1 year turnaround?
Right. Well, no, like, let's say 2 year turnaround, but regardless, it's like games have to be engaging and they're not 2 hours long, right? A game is like 15, 20 hours. So like for a game to have because if that was the case, everybody would be making survivor RPGs, right? Or they would be making gaming as a service. Then there'd be 1,000 of them and they would be very popular. And that's not the case. Movies are a little different because movies people put on to forget and to escape.
That's true. Although games are supposedly a lot of gas coming. I mean, games as a service down the line still.
Yeah, and they're probably a lot. I would say 80% of them will fail because there's just not enough people that want that.
We got 3 in the last 2 weeks. Suicide Squad, the Helldivers is supposed. I don't know. I guess they're calling it live service. It's weird. Live service is also changing now too. Because now live service is becoming like, we're just calling it that because we're going to continually update our game, which falls underneath the category live service or GASS, gaming as a service.
I mean, that's what
and then the horrible dumpster fire that is Skull and Bones. That's coming out next week.
I don't know, man. I mean, I haven't seen Skull and Bones, but that game has been highly anticipated game for like a decade. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out.
It's another live service game, though.
No, I know. And I think live service makes sense if you can actually make something people want that's different and exciting. I think Suicide Squad is a game that we both played, right? Yeah. I'm currently playing it between Pal World because I absolutely love it's the Pal World is like my cocaine because it's the opposite.
Well, dude, okay. Again, you just keep reminding me of things. Okay, so it's just this is really crazy because the Pal World, you love it. It's huge, 2 million copies, right? Not a live service game.
20
I'm
million
sorry.
copies.
I'm sorry. 20 million copies. 2 million concurrent players on Steam. Not a live service game. Matter of fact, no transaction of any kind outside of
0.
getting it for free or buying it for $20. Second highest, most
29.99.
$29.99. Second most highest played game on Steam. That one game of the year. Baldur's Gate 3. No transactions. No live service. Single player only.
Yep.
Broke records.
Yep.
If somebody isn't looking at that and being like, oh man, maybe live service isn't the way, because those two games sold more than any. And then the third one.
The number one, the number one game of the year.
No microtransactions, full game, no DLC for that matter. One price, highest selling video game of 2023.
Yep, best selling, best, for sure underrated. But to me, let's just I'm playing this game, right? And this game is absolutely ridiculous, Power World. And my wife was like, "Hey, Freddie,
Pokemon slavery."
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, Freddie, if I told you a year from now or a year ago that you would be riding a llama with pink boots on, what would you say?" And I'd be like, "Touche."
Picking up eggs to hatch them to see what animal comes out.
I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's so much.
It was never the kind of game I thought I would get into, but it really is. There is something about it that is like slots at a casino. Like you just can't stop. You just like.
I just think that you have full range of the entire world to yourself, and you're like a god. You're essentially a god. You're just a little underpowered, and you just need to get to that, 50. But
to really enslave the entire island.
So we digress. Obviously, I think that Xbox is going to do a showcase about their business. I think within the next 3 years, they're going to come out with a handheld that's not going to be like, I think handheld,
like an actual handheld, like a Steam Deck competitor.
I think that the goal for them is to make and this is me. This is nobody else. This is just me talking shit, right? I think they're going to make something similar to the Switch. That is a handheld console that you can dock and play. I think that they have the library
and what uses the cloud.
Yes, the cloud when you're roaming, and and when you dock it. I don't know, something like that. I feel like there's too much to gain from a mobile device.
Yeah, but you're up against the Steam Deck, which is wildly popular, and a damn good handheld.
No, it's fantastic. The problem is unless they can get game, because it's Game Pass. That's the seller. It's not.
Well, yeah. They did work with Steam though on it, so there is a route now to put Game Pass on the Steam,
but not in the Linux
natively.
Ubuntu.
Right.
Yeah,
it's not like natively. It's like a whole. You have to go through the web browser.
Yeah, and which is basically it's not native, right? You're playing cloud. So,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, why go handheld? And I mean, maybe I would just team up with Steam.
Or they do the PlayStation route and they make kind of whatever that device was. It called the Pulse or what's that?
Yeah, it's like weirdly popular for some people.
I don't understand it, but
because people want to play in their bed. That's it. Like those things work great in your house. They just do, right? Like, I mean, I use a lot of times my Steam Deck to, I play video games on my Steam Deck more so to just couch game, but I'm using what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm playing it on my PC, but I'm sending it to my Steam Deck.
Yeah, you're whatever. It's streaming.
Yeah, I'm like streaming it. Like that's what everybody wants to do. And that's the only reason why that PlayStation thing is popular is because it actually works really well as like a device inside your home. To then be like, oh, like my kids are on the TV, or you know what, I think I'm gonna jump into bed, but I'll play some more Suicide Squad, and you can just open that up. It's got the rumble, it's got all the things that the controller has on it, and play your games. And the pricing isn't gonna like, it's not like unattractive. It's like $199 or something.
It's a little overpriced. $200.
I mean,
you can buy
it's
Switch.
overpriced for what it is, but I mean, like people who want to play PlayStation in their bed are like, I'm all in.
I mean, our buddy Travis bought it, and but in his defense, to find that awful devices, but he has several kids, and so if the kids want to watch TV and he wants to play, he can play on his handheld, which is fine. I think that
I can do that on the Steam Deck now. Actually, I just set it up.
Yeah, so I just think that you need to that they're going to make something
Remote
that's
play.
going.
Remote play. That's what it is. That's what it's called.
Oh, for PlayStation. Well, you know what's
For
funny
everything.
is
even for Steam, it's called Steam remote play.
Yeah. So, man, people, listen. Xbox is going to do what's best for Xbox. It's a money maker. It's a long-term investment. When you spent in the last 10 years, nearly $300 million on studios, $300 billion on studios, they're not going to just give that away.
If you care that much about Xbox too, go buy Game Pass. Like, there's still so many people who love Xbox don't even have Game Pass.
But I don't understand it. Go buy it. Yes, you're renting. It's a phenomenal rental service, right? Like for $15, which is cheaper than when I was a kid, when I was renting games from like Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, it was way more than that. So like $15 for PlayStation, for Xbox and PC, it's a steal. And you guess what? You also get surprises like Pal World that just pop up. Yeah, right. I mean. Anyways,
then if I ask you, what are you playing? What are you? It's Power World.
Well, I play Suicide Squad, which I actually really like.
You picked it up.
Played it. Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's challenging at parts. There is, it's like any other live service game. There's some repetitive gameplay, but it's still the story is really engaging. It's fun, and you get to play some of these. The characters are really funny. The gameplay per character, which I think somebody said they're identical.
Paul
calling you out, Paul. The game.
Freddie watched me for a week as I like assaulted poor Paul Tassi on Twitter. I was like that game's like champion for like a solid week, and it's not. So I'll backpack on you. That's what I'm playing. That's what I've been playing. And I didn't do that because like I disagreed with everyone. I mean, you can not like a game. That's fine with me. It's just for me, like for people who like live service games, I think Suicide Squad at launch checks off a ton of boxes that no other game has done well in a long time, and has a story and a system in place that's already better than Destiny. It doesn't have a raid. But like Lightfall was a catastrophe. Destiny's at the lowest player base it's ever had. There are people looking for new looter shooters that are also in the vein of a live service game that they know is going to continue to be supported. And I thought this was a good one, but apparently I'm like dead wrong because like critically this thing got hammered. It's only 3 points above Redfall on Metacritic, which is crazy because Redfall is probably one of the worst video game launches I've ever seen. How Suicide Squad is only 3 points above that makes zero sense to me. But end of the day, it is what it is. And I like you, I agree. I think it's a fun game, and I think they have a very strong roadmap that if they stick to it, maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's really hard for these games. You actually said it when we were just looking at numbers. You were like, games don't go up. Like they launch, they're huge, and they taper off. And Suicide Squad needs numbers to go up and not taper off. So,
well, I think it's twofold, right? I think that you took a studio that made phenomenal,
single
player games, and then you made a live service. People were kind of getting sick of it, and I think it was going to be an uphill battle regardless.
And I think they shouldn't have ever put it in the Arkhamverse. Maybe, I mean, that was probably a mistake. I don't think people would have taken it so personally if you weren't shooting. Spoilers. If the Justice League you weren't killing in the Batman scene, the way that played out wasn't the Arkham Batman. I think too, that was a huge part of it. Like making it a sequel to the Arkham games probably was not a good idea.
Yeah, the Arkham games are beloved. They're the first time that a Batman game has been.
I mean, you haven't seen it, but Batman gets it. I mean, you do Batman dirty. I mean, like compared to every other Justice League member, he's the only one that has this like very prolonged, pretty rough time.
Well, and it's also you have to remember these people are criminals, so they have no compassion for the Justice League.
Well, yeah,
so that's
not at all.
I mean.
But I just think people could have swallowed it more if it wasn't.
The Flash scene was the Flash scene was easy, but the Lex Luthor scene was like,
oh, that was great.
I was like, oh, we got him, and then it's like, ha ha.
Yeah, he rips his
Spoiler alert. But anyways,
It is. He rips his heart out. It's fantastic.
it's it's a good game, guys. Like I wouldn't, you know
It's
me.
fun.
I'm a critic. When it comes to games, I like what I like, and so it's a good game. I recommend it. And here's the thing: there's enough content for $70 or 69. What is it? 69.99, right?
69 price. Yeah, price tag.
$70 plus taxes, like $76. You get you get a full long 15+ hour game, maybe 8 hours if you play it on easy. But then you also get the roadmap for free.
Yeah.
Like that is
4 new
unheard of.
characters.
Yeah, 4 new characters. It's a good deal.
Supposedly the data mining. I mean, this is more spoilers, data mine stuff. But I mean, according to all the guys I'm friends with, I'm not friends, but I know Miller. I've talked to him on Twitter, and some other people that he works with. They still stand by that a PvP mode is coming. That's in the vein of Gambit from Destiny. So,
ooh, see that'd be fun. Those characters are a lot of fun, especially when you add more characters. But
right. So we'll see.
yeah.
Really, what we've got next is, well, I mean, you know what, I know you were playing that, and I know you're playing Pal World. Everybody knows I'm playing Suicide Squad. I did pick up Helldivers. I'm gonna jump into that tonight. I kept going back and forth on it, but it was so cheap. FOMO got me bad on that one. I was like, man, all these people are having this much fun with this game. Is it really that good? So I guess I'm gonna find out. Outside of that, there isn't anything for this year, probably not until summer for me. I'm excited for the free to play first person shooter, third person shooter game. The First Ascendant is like kind of my next most anticipated video game, I would say. Obviously I'm gonna play Helldivers. I'm gonna play Ninja Theory's sequel. Hellblade. I will play that. I will play Indiana Jones when that comes out. I hope Avowed is good. We talked about that last time. I mean, we still have another really, really big year in gaming coming up. Like, it's still going to be very packed. There's still a lot of stuff dropping from all sorts of developers, and there's even going to be the really huge survival game that came out that everybody like fell in love with. That was like Once Human. That went on for like a month-long beta, and it was like, and everybody was like, "This is like the greatest thing since sliced bread." So I'm looking forward to trying that out when it actually launches.
Wait, what is that game? Like, what kind of game is that?
Once Human is another survival. Like, wake up, you have nothing, go and farm it. But it also has like dungeons, and it has raids, and it has like Destiny-esque like shooting. It's like a whole lot of things put into one game in a crazy, creepy world with like monsters. I don't know. It's weird. Look it up. It went for a month-long beta, and people like fell in love with it.
So I'm looking at the PlayStation releases this year. I'm not sure why. This is IGN, so take it with a grain of salt, folks. So Skull and Bones is coming out in February.
Well, yeah, it's third party though. Third party, but yeah.
Well, no, I know, but it doesn't say Xbox. It just says, it says February 20. PlayStation release dates.
Yeah.
There's a Tomb Raider remake for 1 through 3. Foam Stars, which came out, it's a PlayStation exclusive.
People like it.
I mean, it looks like it's a ripoff from Nintendo's game. Whatever.
Rebirth is coming out this month too.
Rebirth is coming out. There's a game called Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered.
I don't know what that is.
That's coming out. That's coming out right before the day before the Rebirth. In March, we got some notables.
I think
Ronin is coming out. Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming out.
But that's multi-plat.
South Park Snow Day is coming out.
Oh, man, watch out.
April, Stellar Blade is coming out. And then September, Warhammer 40,000. Oh,
that's that Space Marine 2 thing.
Yeah, these are, and then the rest of these.
After Rebirth and Ronin, there isn't. I mean, that's it. There's not like another AAA title right now for PlayStation for the rest of the year. A lot of third-party titles. Ubisoft's coming out with the new Star Wars Outlaws game this year. And then
That is right.
Assassin's Creed, the feudal Japan Assassin's Creed is actually coming out, and it's supposed to launch sometime in between January and March of next year.
Yes. So for Xbox, we got some, for notables, Hellblade 2, Indiana Jones, Avowed, more Flight Simulator.
Yep.
Some game called Tower Born. Never heard of that. And then obviously Star Wars Outlaws, that's coming out. Persona 3 Reloaded. I know people love Persona.
That's Game Pass too.
Yep. Let's see. Anything good? Oh yeah, the remastered of the, like I said, they're remastering all the original Tomb Raiders, not the new ones, but the original. And I don't know what studio is making this, because obviously
it's not Crystal.
It's not Crystal Dynamics, right? Because that's
who.
So.
Crystal Dynamics did the remake.
Right.
I don't even know what they're doing. Actually, I mean, they made a Guardians of the Galaxy, which flopped, and
I thought that was a great game, by the way.
It was such a good game. Like, honestly, it was such a good game. But, well, what's your dad advice then, Freddie? You got anything? It's been like 46 minutes. You got to think about it.
Yeah, no, dad advice is...
I don't know that I have any. Survive, y'all.
Yeah, most of it is like, just remember that they're only young for so long.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Enjoy that, like my daughter always... And she has those little thing where she sits in it and she scoots everywhere.
Yeah.
And she always goes to my office and looks. And if I'm not there, she gets sad. So she's just like, she jumps over here and I look over. She's like, she had a big old smile. That's lovely. That's going to go away very soon. Like, that is not something that lasts very long.
If you tell yourself that too much, you just fall into a deep hole of depression. Then you're like, I shouldn't be working. I should be playing with him. And then you're playing with him and you're like, God, you're so annoying. I'm gonna go do something else.
Well, I mean, it's obviously, like, I love my daughter, but the only thing she wants to do is to hold my hand and have her walk everywhere. And I'm just with both hands.
And one day, Freddie, she's not gonna want to touch your hand, let alone walk with you.
She's like, Dad, drop me off and F off. Okay.
Don't even look at me.
How dare you? Give me my money and let me
be the one too who rolls down my window and I'm like, I love you.
Honey, I will put your panties in the dryer tonight.
When I get home. Have a great day at school.
But no, I mean, like, it doesn't last very long. Just remember that you are getting older by the day, and you're gonna
back out for like 2 weeks.
Everything goes by quick.
It goes by so fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I have, man. Just like enjoy the time you have. Like, these kiddos, having kids is a lovely thing. Just don't have 5. It's just too much.
Don't be like somebody we know who has like 7.
We love you, buddy.
He doesn't listen to this, but if you do, it's okay. If you want to have 7 kids, you go for it. You throw your life away. Okay. I don't I'm just kidding. For anyone who has, I mean, like, clearly everybody has their own thing, and they say after 2, it's no different, because then the kids just take care of each other. So, anyways,
it's like your kids are like your pals, right? So, like, they become your little slaves. Go take care of your
Anyways, episode 11. It's always, I like doing this. We did it a little bit later tonight, but I didn't feel like the energy was any different. But it was always fun. And next time we show up, I think I'll have some thoughts on Helldivers for you. We will have had the Xbox conference. I believe it is next Thursday. So we will definitely talk on whatever that shows, and then whatever else comes up between now and then. Ready?
Let's we do have the last part of this show, which is
the hot takes.
The hot takes. Okay, so I'll let you start since I did the dad thing first. What's your hot take, bud?
I don't really have a hot take right now. It's not even a hot take because I think it's a guaranteed, but Xbox is 100% buying Pal World, Dev.
Oh, you stole it, because that's Oh, 100%.
I mean,
That
there's
makes
just no way they don't. Like,
or they take a massive, they put like they do a Sony and they just give them they take 40% of the company and
well, yeah, yeah,
I would make that sucker exclusive for life. That prints money. Okay, well that's your hot take. Good for you. You stole mine. So let me think of the other one. I think my hot take is going to be Xbox is thinking two steps ahead. I think they know what they have is going to work long term, and I think that they don't care about the console sales of this generation. It's all this is going. It's all for the next generation.
yeah.
They know the next 6 years is just them trying to get a foothold on these studios and making sure they can do this 4 games a year. Because if that works, if that is successful, folks, I don't see how.
I mean, Game Pass will be huge. It will be the Netflix for video games,
and they will sell a ton of consoles, and they would be able to do whatever they want. I think that's why Sony was so adamant about not losing. Activision. I mean, so that's my hot take. That's my hot take.
Well, until next week, everybody, I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoy this. As always, make sure you like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, feel free to comment if there's something you want us to cover, if you've made it this far.
And I'm going to announce it real quick. If we can get to 5,000 followers. 5,000 followers. If you're on Twitter, the Twitterverse or X, if you can show that once we get to 2,000 or 5,000, did I say that? Once we get to 5,000,
you said 5,000.
We'll buy you a console of your choice.
Oh my God!
Me and BK will split the cost, but we need 5,000 subscribers. So, and it's only the good consoles, right? The Switch doesn't count. So
5 years from now, when we hit that number, I will buy you the brand new Xbox that just came out.
Anyways, as Brian said, thank you guys. Follow, subscribe, like, comments, and all the things.
Until next time, keep being a good human.
Peace.